Hey everyone, welcome to Sweetcast. And it's kind of interesting that when there are successes in the comic book industry as far as sales go, then you'll have everybody saying, "Oh, look, see, there's good sales on this one book." The problem is that it's been how many months since the last time everyone got together and said, "Hey, look, the comic industry is doing just fine because this one book has a lot of sales." So we got one of those up again. I'm going to go over it, and I think a lot of this is just a misunderstanding, willful miscommunication, perhaps in some cases. So we'll go over that. So first, Fatal's on Indiegogo. There's only 4 days left in the campaign. We're at 74,225. If you haven't backed it yet, now's a great time to jump in. Once we hit 75K, we reach that stretch goal. Everyone gets stickers and bookmarks. And at 80K, book plates in the collector's bundle. And what else? Everyone gets a trading card. Okay, so into the story. So I saw this posted on Twitter. Oh snap. Donny Cates' new Image Comics crossover just pre-sold 150,000 copies to comic book stores, and then it's tagged into Ethan Van Sciver. Said that we're all out of business. What's happening here? I'm really, really confused. Now, part of the whole comics industry model is kind of like a pyramid scheme. Not exactly, but kind of, in that shops will exclusively order through Diamond, and Diamond will order from primarily the same few publishers to sell comics. So it's up to comic book shops to shoulder the entire risk. They're going to load up their inventory with new books and hope that they sell. So the fact that comic book shops have saw that Donny Cates is doing a creator-owned book with Image Comics as #1 in a new series, it's obviously no mistake that would be one that they would want to roll the dice on. What has happened here is these are pre-orders to comic book stores. This means that comic book shops have ordered a lot of this. This means that they're gambling on this selling to their customers. Now, I hope it sells. I really hope that comic book shops start selling tons of comics and everyone loves comics, and it goes back to the good old days of 150,000 copies being absolutely nothing in sales, and we can ride off all into the sunset together. However, to criticize this model and to explain that things are changing and that it is becoming a bit outdated is not a bad thing. I think that the truth is that things are changing, and we've seen a lot of examples over that over the years. Is one book that sells 150,000 copies to comic book shops, not to customers yet, to comic book shops, is that going to turn around the comic book industry? I don't know. The other thing I want to point out here is how specific this book is. I'm not sure exactly what it's about, but just judging by the cover and by the fact that it's called crossover, is really a comic about comics. Is that what's going on here? Because if it is, if the audience wasn't already small enough, my goodness. So I hope it does well. Genuinely really hope this does well. But let's jump over to here and also see what Bleeding Cool has to say. Donny Cates dominates advanced reorders with crossover, Venom, and Thor. That's right. Donny Cates is the biggest selling a writer in comics right now. I don't know. Is that too much of a statement? Maybe. I don't know if he's the biggest, but currently he's hot. People are talking about him, whether it is his comic books or whether it's his random late night rants on the internet, attacking smaller publishers, so on and so on. They're still talking about Donny Cates. So maybe he's up to something. Maybe that means something. Maybe you can garner some attention if you punch down at people. All right, so this article goes, "This must be Donny Cates' day. Greetings from the coal face of the direct comics market, where retailers try to increase their orders of certain comics ahead of sales." That's right, ahead of sales. These books are not sold. These books are essentially, this is why I compared it to a bit of a pyramid scheme. You're selling these books in advance to shops, and they are hoping so much that they're going to be able to sell these books to customers and make some money. So that has not been yet to be seen. However, I honestly do hope that customers are there, they buy this book and they have to go reprint it and so on and so on. All right, so where supply is in demand and most accurately reflected. Yeah, where supply and demand are most accurately reflected. Uh, where you can see which books are hot and where new. I'm trying to. He's talking about retailer shops. That's where you find them. Where new orders are coming in and how retailers are reacting to new, unanticipated desire, and courtesy of stats from Diamond Comics distributors. Okay, so they've got stats. Diamond try to increase their orders in certain comics ahead of sale. All right, so I don't understand why that is the best indicator of sales. The retailers, that is sales, really. If that at the end of the day you're just selling to retailers, that's all you really care about, I guess. So that's why they're spiking the football. I don't know. It seems a little crazy to me. Donny Cates has had the top 6 advanced reorders to himself, courtesy of Crossover, Venom, and Thor. Indeed, he had 13 slots, over half of the top 25 for these titles, for 3 titles with their various covers, and emphasis on various covers. This is Donny Cates' world. We just live in it. Wow. If this is Donny Cates' world, where are the other Donny Cates is what I want to know. Because there ought to be more. If he is selling books, and it looks like it is, where are the other Donny? Where are the other people that get creators that get people excited to buy comics? Where are they? That's what I would like to know. All right, so when we boil this all down, does it mean that the comic book industry is in for a recovery? No, it means that one title, or here overall, what's confusing here is that he's the best-selling writer currently. That doesn't mean that it's enough sales that comic book shops are saved. Do you see how that's sort of a difference there? Comic book shops are ordering his creator-owned book because it's a good gamble. Because of the fact that he's selling so well with Venom and Thor, it only makes sense that his Image book would probably sell well. That's why comic book shops, that's why retailers are buying these books. Now, if you're Image or if you're Marvel and DC, you're happy with this. This means that you sold the books. Now it is their problem. It is retailer shops' problem to sell these books now. It's in the ball's in their court basically. So I want to see how they're selling over time. Obviously, I hope things get better, but there really shouldn't be this weird conflict over if things are going to go out of business and how hard they will or won't go out of business. Their observations about the comic book industry, and honestly, I hope that shops do really well. But I just see things, they're changing. The market has been disrupted. I don't see things going back to exactly how they were. So let me know what you think in the comments below for sure. Back Fatal, it's on Indiegogo right now, and that'll really help us make the end of this campaign strong. Really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.